Here's what happened last time on Incredible Critics.
This weekend, my wife was like, Ben, I want to watch a Christmas movie. And I said, okay, but I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. And she was like, okay, fine. So we started watching A Christmas Kiss 2.
What?
A Christmas Kiss
than Christmas Kiss 1.
2.
Oh.
The second one. Christmas Kiss 1 was so good that they decided to build upon that story. And I think now they're going for a Christmas Kiss cinematic universe.
No.
Well, Christmas Kiss 3 is coming out, and it's Christmas Kiss in the Hood.
And number 4, Christmas Kiss in Space.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We are the Incredible Critics, and incredible not because we're great, but much like me claiming that was from last week, our credibility should seriously be questioned. I am Ben Franco. This week, we are going to be talking about Deadpool 2 and A Quiet Place. But first, joining me, as always, Frankie Fusco.
Hey, Ben.
And back from hiatus, Tim
I'm alive,
Gruber.
everybody. I'm alive.
He is alive.
I have returned.
We were worried about you, Tim. We didn't know what happened.
I know. The 1 week. Actually, what did happen the 1 week? I don't remember. I was at a thing. The next week was
Pendel or convention.
Yeah, the Pendel Ministry Summit, but then last week we had to say goodbye to our puppy dog. So, on Monday, so that was when we normally record. So it was that day. It was a rough day, but yep, I'm back.
That's always rough.
Better than ever.
That's right.
Frankie from my bedroom.
Frankie is also recording from a bedroom.
It's true, I am. It's not mine. Whoa.
Hey ho.
It's the holiday.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Oh, man.
So, Ben, we're recording this a little bit late this week.
Yeah,
Is there any reason
for everybody that noticed that we're releasing this a day late, which is going to be nobody, because nobody pays that close of attention to our podcast. Day late and $1 short of making any money, because my week got crazy. A police officer actually was run over and died, not to start off on a downer, like less than a quarter mile from my house.
Ooh.
That happened at like 2:00 yesterday. And then at about 5:00, there were probably 3 or 4 helicopters overhead. And driving it's 0.8 miles. Sorry. Quarter mile sounds better. Whatever. Less than a mile away. And there was a manhunt going on for 4 people.
In your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Basically.
So most of the search was happening, like we live off of this one major road, and most of the search was happening on the other side of the road. But like the news reporters, when they were standing, like showing our road, like they were so close that they were showing our road on the news feed and everything. So it was a little too close for comfort. So my wife and I decided to pack up and go to our my in-laws who live a few miles away, and just, bunker down there for the night. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to record. There's already too much to figure out.
Ben, why didn't you try to hunt down the killer?
So I had just gotten out of seeing A Quiet Place. So I was in full I will protect my family mode. And
from afar.
Well, no, because first we were at my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like literally going from like window to window, watching the perimeter of my house like every 10 minutes. So yeah. And plus, the cops, they had it covered. There were probably like 100 cops, probably more, in the search. Like it was insane. like 3 helicopters and tons of cop cars. So they had it covered.
Did they find the guy?
So yes, they found all 4 people. And they're going away for a long time.
Huh.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just an insane day, like 24 hours, because I've just been like, I can't think of a worse movie. We'll get into it more when we actually talk about the movie. I can't think of a worse movie to watch and then find out that like your family's relatively close to being in some type of danger.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a pretty, like my adrenaline was already going from seeing A Quiet Place, that it like, yeah.
Tim, I'm not sure if you know, but I am staying in Baltimore right now for work, not far from where Ben is. And one, I didn't leave my hotel room, but it's also not near me, in his defense. But
you're like an hour.
It's not 0.8 miles from your hotel?
It's not, no.
Like
but I also offered for
0.8?
Ben to come hang out in my hotel room. I could share it. I have plenty of room here, and he just ignored my message. He didn't, no response at all.
Wow.
Let me just say,
what a friend.
Let me just say that when Frankie offers for you to spend time in his hotel room, you only make that mistake once. So, you live and you learn.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh man. Well, let's go ahead and get into it with our review, really Frankie's review of Deadpool 2.
I'm out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right.
Woo! Oh, you're living the dreams, DP. Yeah. Devil may care attitude. Strong thighs. Beautiful girlfriend.
Sorry I'm late. I was rounding up all the gluten in the world and launching into space where it can't not hurt us ever again.
Kiss me like you miss me, Red.
That's from the trailer of Deadpool 2, the sequel to Deadpool, in case you didn't know. Kind of the superhero darling film that like almost never got made because they said that it couldn't be made, and then they Ryan Reynolds leaked test footage from it, and it caught fire and made $1 bajillion, I think was the exact amount. This is the follow-up to it. Frankie, you've actually seen it. Tim and I haven't. So what did you think of Deadpool 2?
Strangely enough, the reason I saw it was because Erin, she texted me a couple days before it came out, and she goes, "Are we seeing Deadpool 2 this weekend?" Which she doesn't go see any comic book movies with me. So I was like, yes,
we are.
Yes, we are. But she's a big fan of Ryan Reynolds, and she really enjoyed the first one, so that's why she was excited for the second one. And it didn't disappoint. It was there was a lot of fear about it being the same exact movie, but it was, and to a extent. That's
and I mean, it was.
But that's Deadpool. Like, it's not, those how all the comics are. It's not like you're expecting anything different. You're expecting him to break the fourth wall, be really funny, quirky, and a lot of violence and foul language. So it was all that. It was, but it was really funny. I even think it was funnier than the first one. And there's tons of stupid little Easter eggs and cameos through the whole entire movie. Taylor Swift's cats make a cameo. Brad Pitt makes a cameo.
Her actual cats?
Her
There's an Easter egg of her cats.
Images of her cats. So there's a scene where he is wearing a t-shirt and it has her cats on it that she gave him the t-shirt.
So Frankie, does Brad Pitt make a cameo, or do you see Brad Pitt make a cameo?
Yes, you see Brad Pitt make a cameo.
Okay.
It's one of those things that happens so fast that you go, was that Brad Pitt? And then you pull up your phone in the movie theater and go, oh, that was Brad Pitt. Matt Damon makes a cameo, which I didn't know until afterwards when I was trying to figure out if Brad Pitt made a cameo.
Did you like Matt Damon's cameo?
I didn't know it was Matt Damon, but I did. I have to go back and watch it a second time, and I'm sure I'll love it just because it's Matt Damon.
Damon is Matt Damon. He's amazing. He can do anything. I'd love me some Matt Damon.
Because I do love me some Matt Damon. Love me some Matt Damon.
I do love me some Matt Damon.
Listen, I'm not saying that he's Mr. Marvel, but that's the second Marvel movie he's made a cameo in now. So I'm pretty sure he's.
I mean, you're
next, right. Yeah. He's the next king of Marvel universe. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. It's probably going to happen. Maybe there'll be comic books written about him. I'm not sure. But I really like the movie, and I think everyone should go see it as long as they're into like the old Deadpool movie. They'll love this one.
So, Frankie, if you could sum it up in approximately 5 words.
Ooh, 5 words.
5-word review for Deadpool 2.
5-word review for Deadpool 2. Really good. Really funny. Awesome.
Whoa!
He did
took
it.
you a little bit too long, but
had more time to write a 5-word review. I probably could get a better one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is that shouldn't have taken you that long to come up with, but still, proud of you for 5 words.
I kept it to 5, so we're all right.
As good, better, or worse than the first one?
I would say better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, one last question. If you were to watch this movie through VidAngel, what percentage of the movie would you actually get to watch?
That's a great question, which brings us to our sponsor, VidAngel.
VidAngel.
All right, no joke. They actually, when Deadpool 1 came out, they actually had a marketing campaign about how much of it you could watch through VidAngel. They were like, you can actually watch a good amount of it. Here's how much you'll see, and here's how much you'll hear. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, they did a whole thing about cutting Jar Jar Binks out of the prequel movies.
Yeah.
You could filter him out of Star Wars.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, come on.
Say what you want.
I'd say at least 50% of the movie.
Interesting.
A lot of it would be muted.
Yeah,
50%.
Definitely not the movie to take your children to.
No children.
You know, if you had some children though that were a little bit older, maybe you would take them to Infinity War.
You would definitely take them to Infinity War.
What is the count now for you guys? How many times have each of you seen Infinity War?
I'm still at 1.
I'm sitting on 3.
You're sitting on 3. Ben, what are you at?
Well, so I feel the need to bring the average.
You went to the movies. You went to the movies.
I feel the need to bring the average down a little bit. So I still haven't seen it.
Okay. All I'm saying is if you would have seen Avengers instead of Quiet Place, you would have been hunting down those bad guys.
I mean,
with your hammer and lightning.
Stormbreaker!
Actually, let's be honest. You're more of a Hawkeye. So with your bow.
I'll take it. I'm all right with that. I'm all right being Jeremy Renner.
Hey. He's Matt Damon.
He's no Matt Damon.
He's no Matt Damon. But he's, the cheap upgrade to Matt Damon when Matt Damon.
He's the poor man's.
He's the poor man's Matt Damon. Yeah, we go.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'm all right with that. I'm good with that. All right, now let's get into our next review of A Quiet Place, and this will be spoiler free, and then diving into some spoilers.
Total devastation.
That is from the trailer for A Quiet Place.
I could not understand what was going on in that trailer.
Just music.
That was pretty much just music, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. So this film, Frankie and I have seen. Tim has not. Like I said, we're going to talk about it spoiler free first and then dive into some spoilers. So this movie came out a while ago. I'm not sure of the exact date, but I think that this is the perfect time to go see this film because the fewer people you have in the theater with you, the better time you will have watching this movie. The IMDb synopsis is: in a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing. The film stars John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe. And it's basically a story about, a family trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic world where you just have these creatures that can't see but can hear, so they have to live in silence. Frankie, what did you think of A Quiet Place?
It was an awesome movie. I'm a little biased, I think, because I do love John Krasinski, and he wrote and directed it and starred in it. But it was a lot of fun to watch. Actually, it was very edge of your seat, which doesn't happen too often anymore. You never really know what's going to happen throughout the movie. I will say, do you need to see it in the theater? No, but if you're not going to see it in the theater, watch it somewhere with a surround sound system, with a really good surround sound system on a big screen.
At night.
At night, sure. But like the sound, because there's no talking in the movie, the sound is so important, and you get that theater quality sound when you're watching it in the theater. Obviously, it's not something you're going to get from watching it on your iPhone with your earbuds in.
No, definitely not. To that point, I would be shocked if this didn't get a nomination for the Oscars for Best Sound Mix and Best Sound Design.
It's going to win some awards for sure.
At least the sound awards. Even the score is really good, but I could see it not winning that. But the mix and the design is so perfect, and this film is like 95% silent. I think if you took all the parts where people are actually saying something, it would be about like 5 to 10 minutes of the film. And the sound is just perfect in it. So there's a special place in my heart for films like this. It had a budget of $21 million and it's currently sitting at just under 300 million. So it is doing really well. And this time of year is perfect for this style of film, like a lower budget, thriller, horror, sci-fi type film. I mean, 2 years ago you had 10 Cloverfield Lane. This last year you had Get Out, and this year you have A Quiet Place. You have like one of these breakthrough movies. And then, Split was back there too. You have one of these breakthrough movies that is just low budget, that just hits the right tone for that time of year. It's not a perfect film. There are some parts there I think
Matt Damon's not in it.
Well, Matt Damon's not in it.
Right.
No, there are just some parts where it just it's not. I don't want to say anything that's a spoiler. There are just some things that really stick out to you, and you're like, eh. But overall, I really love this film. Will it be my favorite film of the year? We still got a long time, so I'm not declaring that yet. But really, really enjoyed this film. Frankie, anything else to say before we get into spoilers?
No, I think I said it all.
All right, well, we'll get into spoilers. I just think that I would say go see this movie in a theater, but you're right, Frankie. At least make sure that you have really good surround sound if you don't go see it in the theater. So let's jump into some spoilers for A Quiet Place. All right, Frankie, and Tim's gonna stay with us through this.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I kind of know a bunch of spoilers from this movie already, so
it is definitely a movie where you the fewer spoilers the better. And if you know the spoilers, it would probably take a lot of the fun out of it. But Frankie, what did you think of the opening to the film before the title sequence or before the title card? Do you need me to refresh your memory of what happened?
Yeah. What happens in the opening? What are you talking about? Which part are you talking about?
So what I'm getting at is what I loved about the opening of the film is that the opening starts out with a little kid finding a spaceship and really wanting the spaceship, but John Krasinski takes it away from him because it's battery powered and would make noise.
Right.
And his sister gives it back to him. And as they're walking back to their home, he puts the batteries back in it and it starts making a bunch of noise. And what it was atypical of the film is that John Krasinski starts running towards him to try to save him from the monster.
Right.
And that kid gets taken out.
Yeah, well, it proves to me that I really want a boy and not a girl because girls ruin everything. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
And that happened before the title?
Yeah. It was right after that the title card came up.
Huh, okay. I thought that was right. Okay, never mind. Not important. But what I really liked about the movie, beginning and end, is that they never show you more than what's in the movie. It's never like how the world.
Well, that would be tough.
Well, what I mean. It's never like it's not the backstory about how the aliens took over the world and or the monsters took over the world and made it a post-apocalyptic world. And at the ending, there's no ending where you're like, all the monsters are dead.
Right.
So I did enjoy that. It kind of just
it's a very small film. It's a very focused film.
Yeah. So that was really cool. What did annoy me, and it's my fault, and maybe you thought about it, but read the synopsis again real quick, or the last line in the synopsis.
Yeah, in a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing, which kind of gives away some.
Gives away the whole way to kill the monsters, and I didn't think about it until it happened when they blast the music, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why no one thought about this before everyone died. But
yeah. Well, so I think the one explanation for that is that the takeover happened so quickly because the story starts out, that opening sequence starts out just 89 days into the invasion, and you see that pretty much everything's already been taken over by that point. So I think that they may not have had time. I don't know. That would be my best guess.
Right. Well, and they never explain it, and that's fine. That's that's kind of one of the great things about the movie. But go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is like that opening sequence, what I loved about it is that it showed that they weren't going to hold back any punches. Because normally that scene would be like, John Krasinski running towards the kid and then just narrowly saving it because it's a child. But instead they just go for it. And, that child's gone right from the very beginning. And it's all about that type of heartbreak. Also, I think this is one of those films where, a year ago, I wouldn't have nearly the appreciation for it as I do now after having a child. Because the Emily Blunt's character gets pregnant and then they have to have a baby where you're not allowed to make any noise, which having almost 10-month-old is impossible. But they show some really clever ways that they decided to make that happen, and it actually works ish. I mean, still some movie magic. Emily Blunt's still almost silent through birth, which is impressive. But
hey, listen, if you had to be silent through birth, I'm sure it would be really hard. But if you're going to die, you might be able to do it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's what's funny is the movie is really about family, which is kind of crazy in the weird way to think about it, and kind of like the strength of the family together and how much you do for each other.
For sure.
The whole time he's sitting there trying to help his daughter hear, who's deaf, and even though she's responsible for his son being killed, never really stops him. And then I don't know. So I thought that was really cool. I thought the movie is very well written, and clearly well directed. So I was a big fan of it. I was definitely didn't expect Jim to die at the end. I kind of thought he'd be
It was lame. That was one part. That was the biggest thing that I disliked.
Because there was other ways to do it.
It just was. It was like the least original way that you could have the character die. He doesn't act like anybody would actually act in that situation.
So, because I haven't seen it, I have to ask: did he die because somebody put him in a giant Jello mold, and he was molded into Jello? That's a prank.
Yeah.
But then he died.
That's exactly how he died. Yeah. No, he screams and he has an axe and he
like as a distraction,
right?
Quote,
Makes,
yeah.
Right to get the beast to come after him instead of going after everybody. Yeah. So,
but he drops his axe,
which makes no sense.
Because you at least go down swinging.
Yeah.
And then he just stands there and lets it happen, as opposed to trying to run. Like, he just doesn't do anything. And for a movie that was so original in other ways, it's just like that felt so hollow.
But the whole point of that is really just to get the scene where he tells his daughter that he loves her and he's always loved her.
Yeah, what I wanted was for them to do that, and then he still somehow finds a way to survive, because that would be atypical.
Well, yeah, because that would be nicer if the guy clearly has to die.
Also, the whiteboard in the basement was like so lazy. Because Tim, they pretty much have this whiteboard in the background where they're like, "What's the weakness?"
Spoilers, right?
Question mark. Like,
it's like
who
very
writes
clearly.
that?
Yeah. Like it's very clearly for the audience, and
not at all for the character. No character would actually.
They have to get
that's a criticism I heard from other people too. So.
But it's almost so like you have to get some kind of conversation going in a movie. You know what I mean? Even if it's... But that's kind of how they went about doing that.
They do so many other smart things, like the paint on the wood floors so that they know where to step so that it doesn't creak.
Which is stolen right out of Big Bang Theory, but whatever, go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. But things like that they communicate all non-verbally. They do so many things like that so well that to have this whiteboard in the background, it's like, come on. You don't have to ask what is their weakness. Clearly, you're trying to figure that out.
I wonder if they obviously didn't know how big this was going to be.
Oh, no. It was $21 million budget. If they make 40, they're happy.
Yeah. And so I wonder if they were just like, maybe if we put a few things here and there, like more people will be accepting of it. But then after it came out, that's the first thing I heard from somebody else who saw the movie. It's like, there was this whiteboard.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. So
also the nail on the step. That's like,
why was it there?
It's just too convenient. Like, of course we're going to have this nail. Like, give me some other reason why it was there besides she was hauling laundry up the stairs and it came, it popped it up. Like, it just doesn't. That was lazy for me too.
Why are they doing laundry? That was my other question. You know what I mean? Like, just stay in the same clothes all the time. Changing makes too much noise.
Well, I mean, after over a year, you kind of want cleaner clothes.
Nope.
Well, I mean, maybe she wouldn't have gotten pregnant.
Sacrificing, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the film. Like I said, these sci-fi thriller films at this time of year just have a special place in my heart because I find they can take bigger risks because they're low budget and they're not expected to make that much. He says that, John Krasinski says that he has an idea for a sequel. I think that's a horrible idea and he can prove me wrong, but that just sounds terrible because by the end of the film, they figure out pretty much how to, fight back against these monsters. So the only way that I see a sequel happening is that it's war against these monsters, and that's going to be a bad movie. That's not going to have all of the unique features that this film has. So I'm curious to see if that actually gets greenlit and they go ahead and produce it.
Made enough money, it will get greenlit and made if he really wants it to.
Yeah.
It's not, studios care about money, not about how good the movie is.
Yeah, unfortunately. but we shall see. And Frankie, any other thoughts about The Quiet Place that you wanted to share?
Yeah, listen, like I said, I thought it was a great movie. I think John, I call him John, he did really well.
I call him JK.
He did a good job. But if there is going to be a sequel, throw Matt Damon in it. That's all I gotta say. Then it'll be good.
All right. Well, that's our thoughts on Deadpool 2 and A Quiet Place. Let us know what you think of those films. Frankie, where can people connect with us?
You can find us on Twitter at Critics Pod, on Facebook, facebook.com/Incredible Critics. And don't forget to go into iTunes, hit the subscribe button, give us a rating, help us get out to the people. Thank you guys so much.
And next week, we'll be reviewing Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Solo?
Yeah.
Like, who's doing it?
Just me. We'll see you next week. We're the Incredible Critics.
Okay, so I went into the Apple store because I had washed my AirPods, and the case was like very clearly busted and messed up. And so I went in and I was like, yeah, my case, it's not charging my AirPods. I don't know what the deal is, but it's the battery is not holding a charge, blah, blah, blah. So I get this, I go with the Genius over, I got the Genius, we're hanging out at the Genius bar. And, but then I notice he's got a full sleeve and it's half Legend of Zelda and half Kingdom Hearts.
And you're like, oh, I'm in.
And I was like, bro, is that Kingdom Hearts? And he was like, yes, it's so great. No one ever realizes it. I was like, yeah, you ready for Kingdom Hearts 3? And so we started talking. And about 15 minutes later, you know what? This is covered under the warranty. We're going to replace it for free. You get a brand new case for free. Yes. Being a nerd.
Oh, I love
pays
it.
Off.
I love it. That is brilliant. That's so brilliant.
That's my story.